What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, it is a rainy, stormy day outside, so we're gonna do a fun little upgrade on the Toyota Supra, adding a few more little parts. So if you guys seen previous videos, of course, I've done quite a lot to the Supra. Recently added the carbon fiber mirror caps, and then a few other carbon fiber goodies. Well, we have a few new products on our website, which I'm really excited to take a look at and test out for my own car. But we have a set of carbon fiber strut braces. You can see that nice glossy weave with the aluminum construction. And then we have carbon fiber vent covers for the hood trim pieces. And a nice little touch is a carbon fiber gas cap. That is going to be a nice little touch and very easily adhered to the stock cap. But of course we have all the bolts and everything for the strut bars. And then these pieces, it'll be interesting to see how they actually install, whether they just go onto the current plastic one or if they completely replace them, because I've kind of done some mock-ups on them and I think they might be able to go either way. But to go ahead and start, let's go ahead and swap out to the new versions of the strut braces. We're gonna take these ones off and test out these new ones. Alright, so with the strut bars off the car now, I've had these on for about 6 months, so I figured it'd be a cool time to switch things up. And as you can see, these new Rexpeed ones are going to have the traditional carbon fiber weave versus the forged carbon. So definitely cool to switch things up and get something a little bit different for right now. Now, this will come with all the hardware needed, and these fit all year Toyota Supras. Now, if you own a 2020 Supra, you're not going to have threaded holes in your strut tower. That's okay. This kit, the way these bolts are designed, they're actually going to go right through those holes. They have washers and everything. That way they fit nicely. And even if you have a car that came with factory strut bars, like my own car, these are still going to work. You're basically going to bolt them from the underside. So you're going to have to put your hand under here and just grab the nut on the underside to screw these in nice and tight. However, if you have a car that came with factory strut bars, like my own car, I'm actually just going to reuse my old factory hardware. That way I don't need to worry about going underneath the fender to do the bolt and everything. I can just screw these right into the top, and the stock bolt and everything is going to fit perfectly fine into the Rexpeed strut bar. So it kind of just depends on what you want to do. Of course, I could totally put these on and have a little bit nicer hardware down there, but I'm gonna make it a little bit easier going with the stock stuff. And like I said, I'm just gonna use the factory hardware and just start threading them into the existing holes that are on my car, and everything's gonna be recessed perfectly in these spots right here to fit nice. Alright, there we go. Strut bars are all installed, and these do fit with aftermarket air intakes too, which is nice to see. And then over on the other side, so it definitely looks pretty cool under here. Of course, they're going to be nice and supportive, super structural, just like the stock ones. And as you can tell, it takes no time at all to install these. So cool product for sure. These ones are going to be linked down in the description below. Now let's move on to the fake vents on the hood. I call them trim pieces because they're obviously not real functional vents. Now, I believe you can stick these on top, or just stick them on if you remove the actual vent. So if I pop this out a little bit, I should be able to get it out with one hand. All right, so with that out, as you can tell, again, these are obviously fake vents. There are some that people make that have a real cutout in this trim piece to correspond to right here. I have no clue why people actually put open vents in here, mainly because if you look at where that vent is, there is absolutely nothing it would even do. You can see that little hole right there. That corresponds to back here, and there's not even any heat or anything in here to make those functional, unless you cut holes in this plastic and then cut holes in this metal to really let like pressurized air in the wheel well escape. These are never going to be a functional vent anyway. That's why I call them trim pieces. So from here, you could almost install these by just sticking them on here. However, you'd probably want to move the adhesive going all the way to the edges. But it looks like this is just going to fit perfectly on here and actually be nice and snug around the paint, so it's not going to even look like an overlay. So from here, I'm just going to slowly line this up in here, getting it into the ideal position for it. And once it's in there, you just really want to nicely firmly attach everything. And then from here, we're just gonna reinstall this just like normal. And what I really like, it is actually nice and flush once installed. So it actually doesn't really look like an overlay at all. All right, so simple modification installed. And honestly, you don't really need to take out the stock plastic one. You can actually just stick it on right over it. Just kind of depends on how well you can line it up. But they actually look pretty good. I had overlays on my last Supra that didn't fit quite right. They felt like they stuck out a little bit. So these are a lot better. And the other car, I didn't even keep them on the car. But these definitely look pretty good on it, matching the mirror caps nicely. And yeah, super simple, inexpensive upgrade just to get rid of some of that plastic. And of course add in the nice carbon fiber. So pretty cool design overall. Next up, the last mod for today's quick video is the gas cap cover. So that is just plastic as you'd expect. This is really cool and it's super cheap too. Genuine carbon fiber, of course, and it says the Supra and you got the Rexpeed name on it. But this is literally just gonna stick right on basically and look really cool. Of course, we're gonna do the adhesive, but already you can get a good taste of that. That is gonna be a nice touch. So to go ahead and install it, I already went ahead and peeled the red off. Doesn't matter which way you do it since this does just swivel completely around and around. But from there, we're just gonna slide it on and it fits really nice and snug. And as you can see, that's basically it. And depending on how you install the cap on the car will obviously determine where it sits. But it definitely looks nice. Good touch for the car. All right, so that about wraps it up for today's quick video. Let's do one last look at everything. So carbon fiber fuel cap, I think it looks really good. Genuine carbon, of course. Fits perfectly as you expect, and honestly, it looks OEM. That is a really cool touch, something you don't normally see. And again, it's really inexpensive. And then these pieces right here, just to spice up the hood a little bit. They sit nice and flush to the paint, even on top of the factory piece. So that is nice to see. And then last but not least, the first mod of the day, popping the hood, we can take a look at the Rexpeed strut bars. So those definitely look cool. And they're extremely functional, just like the stock ones, which is a really good touch, of course. And I like how I just used the factory bolts just to keep it simple. But of course, you can use their own hardware, which is great to see. And then one last look at that carbon and the fitment and everything. So I'll have all three of these different parts linked down below. This is a really inexpensive upgrade you can do for your Supra. Not a bad way to go to add a little bit of carbon to your car. So check those links out down below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, stay tuned for plenty more Supra content, and I'll see you all in the next video.